Welcome to Numismatics Hub. Explore rare, valuable coins from around the world. Whether you're a beginner or expert, join us for fascinating facts, expert tips, and hidden treasures. Subscribe and be part of the community. In 1973, the United States was experiencing a period of significant cultural and political change. The nation was still in the midst of the aftermath of the Vietnam War, while the Watergate scandal was just beginning to unfold, and the American economy was struggling with inflation. Amidst these turbulent times, a coin was minted that would eventually become a symbol of both its era and a particular kind of American craftsmanship. The 1973 U.S. half-dollar. To fully appreciate the story of this coin, it's essential to understand the context in which it was created. The half-dollar had been in circulation in the United States for over a century, and by the early 1970s, it had become a familiar piece of American currency. The coin's design, which was originally the work of famed sculptor Adolph A. Weinman, had evolved over time, but the coin minted in 1973 would carry with it a distinct connection to the past as well as a glimpse of the future. At the time, the United States was in the midst of transitioning to new coinage designs, part of an ongoing shift in the appearance of U.S. currency. This was primarily due to the 1965 decision by the U.S. Treasury Department to eliminate silver from most of the nation's circulating coins. While the silver content in the half-dollar was phased out, the 1973 half-dollar would still carry with it a sense of connection to a bygone era, one where silver was a vital component of the nation's coins. The design of the 1973 half-dollar was a product of this transition. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find the image of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. This portrait was originally created by artist Gilroy Roberts in 1963, shortly after President Kennedy's assassination. It would become one of the most iconic and enduring images on American coinage. Kennedy's likeness was rendered in a way that captured the essence of his youthful energy and charisma, qualities that made him a beloved figure in American history. The reverse side of the 1973 half-dollar features the heraldic eagle, a design that had become a staple of U.S. currency. This eagle was first introduced on the back of the half-dollar in the 1930s, and while it would undergo minor modifications over the years, it remained a constant symbol of American strength and freedom. The eagle on the 1973 half-dollar has its wings spread wide, ready to take flight, a fitting representation of the United States itself during this era of rapid change. The minting of the 1973 half-dollar was also a significant moment in the history of U.S. coin production. In 1973, coins were produced at multiple mints across the country, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The coins minted at each of these locations would bear different mint marks, and these marks can serve as valuable clues to a coin's origin and rarity. Coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint, for example, would be identified with no mint mark, while those produced in Denver would feature a D mint mark, and those from the San Francisco Mint would carry an S mint mark. Collectors and numismatists pay close attention to these details, as they can significantly affect the value of a coin. In terms of composition, the 1973 half-dollar was made of a copper-nickel clad material, with a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. While this composition was a departure from the coin's earlier silver content, it still retained the same weight and size as previous half-dollars. The change in metal content was part of a broader move by the U.S. Mint to reduce costs while still producing coins that were functional and durable. While the 1973 half-dollar was minted primarily for circulation, there were also special proof coins created for collectors. These proof coins were struck with extra care to ensure a higher level of detail and a more polished appearance. They were typically sold in special sets, making them a prized item for numismatists. Proof coins are known for their mirror-like finishes and sharp, well-defined details, and the 1973 half-dollar proof coins are no exception. In addition to the proof coins, there were also commemorative sets and special editions of the half-dollar produced during this time, further fueling the demand among collectors. However, even though the 1973 half-dollar was minted in large quantities, it wasn't necessarily the most widely circulated coin of its time. In fact, many of the half-dollars that were produced in the 1970s were stored away by collectors or used in token programs rather than entering general circulation. It was this combination of historical significance and limited circulation that would later play a major role in the coin's appeal to collectors. By the time the 1973 half-dollar began to appear in the hands of numismatists and enthusiasts, it had already been imbued with a sense of rarity, thanks to its design, its connection to the Kennedy administration, and the relatively low number of coins that had been widely used in everyday transactions. But what really elevates the 1973 half-dollar in the world of coin collecting is its potential value, which has increased dramatically over the years. While the face value of the half-dollar remains 50 cents, certain versions of this coin can fetch an extraordinary amount of money at auction. The key to its value lies in the condition of the coin, as well as any rare variations or minting errors that may exist. The 1973 half-dollar, particularly those in mint state or proof condition, can fetch several $100s and in some cases even more. However, it's the rarer versions, those with unique minting errors or high-grade specimens, that can see their value skyrocket. The highest recorded sale of a 1973 half-dollar was for a coin in flawless condition, which went for an astonishing $156,000 at auction. What makes this particular coin so valuable? Part of it is the coin's rarity and condition. Coins that are preserved in mint state, meaning they have been well maintained and show little to no signs of wear, are highly sought after. In the case of the 1973 half-dollar, those that were carefully stored or had very little circulation are especially prized by collectors. But there are also rare variations of the coin that can increase its value even further. Minting errors, such as double die or off-center strikes, can make a coin even more valuable, as these imperfections are considered rare and unique. Collectors are always on the lookout for these kinds of variations, as they make the coin even more interesting and historically significant. Ultimately, the 1973 half-dollar is a coin that encapsulates both the history of the United States during a turbulent time and the artistry of U.S. coinage. From its design, which honors the memory of President John F. Kennedy, to its connection to the larger story of American currency, the 1973 half-dollar is more than just a piece of change. It's a piece of history. And for collectors, that history is worth far more than 50 cents. As we've seen, a pristine, well-preserved 1973 half-dollar can command a value that would make any coin collector's jaw drop. $156,000. This figure is not just a reflection of the coin's scarcity or its design, but a testament to the ever-evolving nature of coin collecting and the enduring legacy of American numismatics and the world of coin collecting. There are few items that carry as much historical weight, design beauty, and potential for significant value as the 1973 half-dollar. So, whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting to dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting, keep an eye out for this iconic piece of American history. It may just turn out to be far more valuable than you ever expected. There's something incredibly fascinating about coins. They hold history, culture, and stories far beyond their size or value. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the most interesting coins in U.S. numismatics, the 1979 USA half-dollar. Now, when you think of a coin from the late 1970s, it might not strike you as anything extraordinary. But trust me, when you learn about the history, the design, the minting process, and the surprising value this coin has reached today, you'll see just how special the 1979 half-dollar is. The year 1979 was a pivotal time for the United States. The country was in the midst of recovering from the political and economic turmoil of the 1970s. The effects of the Watergate scandal had deeply affected the nation's trust in its leaders, and the energy crisis was still fresh in the minds of many. The U.S. was also facing high inflation, which led to a rise in consumer prices across the board. Yet, amid this backdrop of uncertainty, the U.S. Mint was quietly going about its business, producing coins that would end up playing a role in the numismatic world for decades to come. At the same time, there were shifts in U.S. currency, with the public being introduced to a variety of new coins and paper bills. The late 1970s saw the beginning of the U.S. Mint's push to reduce the amount of precious metals in coins, a trend that would come to a head in the following decade. Amidst this changing landscape, the 1979 half-dollar was minted, a coin that would eventually become a prized collectible. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. What exactly does the 1979 half-dollar look like? If you're familiar with the half-dollar coin, then you know that it features the likeness of President John F. Kennedy, who was immortalized on the coin following his assassination in 1963. Designed by artist Gilroy Roberts, Kennedy's image is portrayed in a profile view on the obverse, the front, of the coin. The artist's depiction captures a sense of realism, showing Kennedy as a man full of youthful energy and vision. Surrounding the image of the president are the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," which are commonly found on U.S. coins. But Kennedy isn't the only figure to make an appearance on the half-dollar. On the reverse or back side of the coin, you'll find a powerful image of the bald eagle, an enduring symbol of American strength and freedom. The eagle is perched, holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other. This striking imagery represents the delicate balance between peace and the protection of national interests. Above the eagle, the words United States of America and half-dollar are inscribed. If we look at the physical properties of the coin, the 1979 half-dollar measures 30.61 millimeters in diameter, weighs 11.5 grams, and is made up of a 40% silver and 60% copper composition. This silver-copper mix was a standard for U.S. coins struck in the 1970s. However, the shift away from silver coins was already underway, which meant the 1979 coin would mark one of the final years that the U.S. Mint struck coins with significant silver content. This coin also holds a special place in the history of American coinage because of the dramatic shifts in minting practices taking place at the time. You see, the U.S. Mint was moving toward more efficient methods of producing coins, and the half-dollar, a coin that had largely fallen out of public favor, was not immune to these changes. The production of the 1979 half-dollar was part of a broader effort to introduce new designs and reduce the costs associated with minting precious metal coins. Let's talk about the minting process itself. In 1979, the U.S. Mint struck half-dollar coins in 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins produced in these mints could be distinguished by their mint marks. Coins minted in Philadelphia had no mint mark, while those produced in Denver featured a D, and the coins from San Francisco were marked with an S. The mint mark is crucial because it adds to the rarity of certain coins. For instance, in 1979, the mint mark plays a significant role in determining the value and rarity of individual coins. Interestingly, the 1979 half-dollar was not produced in massive quantities. Although millions of these coins were minted, their circulation was much more limited compared to other denominations. By the 1970s, the half-dollar was no longer being used frequently in everyday transactions. This meant that many of the 1979 coins were either stored away in banks, collected by hobbyists, or simply not used much at all. This decreased circulation, combined with the fact that many of these coins were kept in good condition, meant that the 1979 half-dollar would become a highly desirable coin for collectors down the line. Now, let's talk about the appeal of the 1979 half-dollar in the collector's world. While the 1979 half-dollar might not have been the most glamorous coin at the time of its release, its historical significance, limited circulation, and silver content make it a prized possession today. Many collectors look for coins that have remained in excellent condition, and because the 1979 half-dollar was not commonly used, many examples are in relatively pristine shape. This has made the coin an attractive target for both serious numismatists and casual collectors alike. Over time, the demand for 1979 half-dollars in mint condition has continued to grow, and certain variations of the coin are particularly rare and sought after. For example, coins that were part of proof sets or coins struck at the San Francisco Mint tend to be much rarer and, therefore, more valuable. These coins were produced specifically for collectors, so they were struck with higher quality dies and given extra care to ensure that the details of the design were sharp and clear. Proof coins are a category all on their own in the world of numismatics. These coins were specially minted to meet the demands of collectors, and they often feature mirror-like finishes and precise details. For the 1979 half-dollar, proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint are considered among the most valuable and highly sought-after varieties. If you happen to find one of these proof coins in excellent condition, you're holding on to a piece of numismatic history that's worth much more than face value. So, what is the value of the 1979 half-dollar coin today? The value can range significantly depending on the condition, the mint mark, and whether it's a standard circulation coin or a proof coin. For a typical 1979 half-dollar in good to average condition, you might find it valued anywhere from a few dollars to maybe $10 or $20. However, when we're talking about coins in pristine condition, such as those in uncirculated or proof condition, the price can skyrocket. In fact, certain 1979 half-dollar coins have been known to sell for thousands of dollars at auction, especially if they come from the San Francisco Mint and are part of a limited edition proof set. But the real kicker comes when you look at the highest values achieved by rare specimens. Believe it or not, some of the most coveted 1979 half-dollar coins have been sold for upwards of $163,000. This is no exaggeration. These coins, with their combination of rarity, condition, and historical importance, have commanded such high prices in recent auctions. A coin that once circulated in everyday transactions is now fetching six figures, which is a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting. So, why does this happen? The answer lies in the rarity and demand for these coins. As time passes and fewer of these coins remain in excellent condition, their value continues to rise. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that are rare, historically significant, and in top-notch condition, and the 1979 half-dollar checks all of these boxes. Additionally, the fact that it's part of the Kennedy series gives it an extra layer of appeal, as John F. Kennedy remains one of the most beloved and influential figures in U.S. history. In conclusion, the 1979 USA half-dollar coin is far more than just another piece of currency. It represents a time in U.S. history, it carries the legacy of one of America's most iconic presidents, and it holds significant value for collectors worldwide. Whether you find one tucked away in an old drawer, or you're actively searching for one to add to your collection, the 1979 half-dollar is undoubtedly a coin worth knowing about. If you happen to stumble upon a 1979 half-dollar in your pocket change or discover one hidden in your collection, remember that it's not just a coin. It's a piece of American history that could be worth a lot more than you might think. Keep an eye out because you might just be holding on to a coin worth over $160,000.